The Knicks postgame show is presented by Tri-State Audi. Visit your Tri-State area Audi dealer today. Tonight, Game 3 in Philly. DJ Edgecombe looking good here, and the Sixers early had a 12-point lead. But then it was the Knicks playing great basketball. Mikal Bridges, another fantastic game. He had 23. And Jalen Brunson tonight for the Knicks, 32 points, 9 assists. And the Knicks now lead this series 3-0 as they win tonight 108-94. Fans outside MSG at the watch party loving this as the Knicks are on the verge. One more win needed to make the Eastern Conference Finals. Great to have you with us here from our Delta MSG studios. Bill Pidto along with Alan Hahn. No OG Anunoby. Knicks win anyway. No team in the history of the NBA playoffs has come back after being down 3-0. Mikal Bridges now joins us from Philadelphia. Mikal, thanks so much for joining us. Congrats on another great game. No OG Anunoby tonight. How'd you guys do it without him? I will try to get Mikal wired up here in a couple of moments, but no Anunoby.
Yep.
They were able to hold Maxey in check again. They got great bench play, especially from Landry Shamet, and they're on the verge of making the Eastern Conference Finals.
You always wonder in games like this, when you lose a key player, who's it going to be that steps up and fills in the blank? All season long, the Knicks have had different unsung heroes step up and have big games for them in wins. Tonight it was Landry Shamet off the bench, ready to play in this game, and the bench was a huge part of the story. And also, the story of the playoffs so far for this Knicks team has been their ability in the moment of a game to deliver that kill shot, that knockout punch. And that came when the Sixers cut it to 4, and all of a sudden it felt like this was going to be a grinder down the stretch. Knicks went 17-4 right after that, outscored the Sixers, ran them right off the court. And another game where it looked like the Knicks having their depth showed in the fourth quarter because that Sixer team, once again, looked tired late. The Knicks had better legs. The Knicks had a deeper bench. And the Knicks were able to deliver another knockout blow. And now up 3-0, looking at Sunday as potential knockout blow to win the series.
Knicks bench outscored the Sixers bench 29-11. And I think the point needs to be made. OG Anunoby, so critical, obviously. But these Knicks have all played.
Yes.
So when Landry Shamet's out of the rotation and then he comes back out of the rotation, or Jordan Clarkson in and out, the point is, if it's Alvarado, Deuce McBride, if these guys are called upon, it's not like they haven't been called upon during the regular season. And I think that is a key point. All the credit in the world to Landry Shamet. His effort at the end of the first quarter got the Knicks back into the game.
Absolutely did. When he got into the game, he was a game changer. It's also a credit to these pros that are on this bench. I mean, that's what you're looking for. Alvarado, a pro, stayed ready, had impact in the previous series and early in this series. Landry Shamet we're talking about tonight because he's a guy that had been out, hadn't really played much at all, but yet stays ready, knows when his number is called to be ready, and that's key as well. Mitchell Robinson off the bench, what he's been able to do, and I thought he had big minutes with Karl-Anthony Towns in foul trouble. You just look up and down. Jordan Clarkson, we've talked about a lot, a guy that was out of the lineup for a while and didn't get down on himself, didn't complain, didn't grumble, stayed ready, worked on some things, and now he's an effective player. That's part of the year. As you said, throughout the year, has always been a player who's had a game here and there. And so now in these moments, you can now use that. Confidence comes from demonstrated performance. Every single one of the guys coming off the bench has had a game or two during the season where he's been the X factor. And then tonight, Landry Shamet did it again.
All right, Alan, let us now get post-game reaction in Philadelphia from Mikal Bridges.
Mikal, what can you say about the performance tonight that you gave this team?
Playing desperate. That's really it. Just doing whatever it takes to win. And that's really it.
What did you think about the atmosphere tonight?
It's great, you know what I'm saying? You know the Philly fans going to bring it, but, there's a lot of New York fans are here, and we appreciate it every single time. It's great.
This team has really embraced the next man up mentality. OG is out. What can you say about how everybody stepped it up tonight?
Yeah, everybody step up. Next man, we know how much OG means to the team, how much he impacts the team, and we're going to do it for him every time he's out. And Landry, Deuce, JC, everybody stepped up. Jose, who's been playing too, everybody's stepping up and giving great minutes.
Up 3-0, what's it going to take to close it out?
0-0, keep playing desperate.
Mikal Bridges, Alan, 23 points and the great defense on Tyrese Maxey. That's 4 straight games now. Bridges averaging 19 a game over those last 4 after he was really struggling
struggling in that early part of the series. I thought he ended the Hawks series, though, on a high. He had a terrific Game 6. When the Knicks play with pace is when he's really at his best, and you're seeing the Knicks play with a lot more pace with their offense. They're not letting the Sixers defense get set. And for Bridges, all these cuts, look at all these baskets. This is not one-on-one stuff that he's doing. This is quick decision stuff. And this right here ended the kill shot. 17-4 run was on that bucket right there, and give him the robot as you're heading back to the bench. But you can see it. First of all, guy from Philadelphia was drafted by the Sixers, traded on draft night. This is personal for him. Villanova guy as well. Success in that building he's used to. And look at his last 4 games, Bill. Look at the shooting percentages. I do feel like rhythm for him offensively is everything, but also his impact on defense can't be understated. Like overstated. You got to understand. He came into this game defensive field goal percentage in the first 2 games of this playoff round. He's holding opponents. Anybody on the Sixers that he guards shot under 37% coming into this game. I can't wait to see the numbers coming into in this game, because his defense, his deflections, those are all part of getting the Knicks up and down the floor, scoring off turnovers.
Tyrese Maxey averages 21 shots a game. Bridges doing most of the defense on Tyrese Maxey. Maxey tonight took only 12 shots. He's been a non-factor, and this is one of the top guards in the entire NBA. Let's take you through the second half. That's when the Knicks, as Alan pointed out, really turned it on, especially in the fourth quarter. But it was an 8-point lead for the Knicks at the half, and then they started taking control of the game. We got some action here in the third quarter, but it was the fourth quarter where the Knicks really took control. Sixers only scored 18 fourth-quarter points.
Well, remember, in the third quarter, what was happening was the Sixers knew, because they were able to get a lucky bounce 3 at the end of the half to make an 11-point game into an 8-point game. And then they said, third quarter, we got to come out. We got to do something. The Knicks knew it. They've been in this situation before, and they answered almost every time the Sixers did something. And, of course, Jalen Brunson, well, he just took over. You talk about comfortable in that building. He goes for another 30. Remember, his closeout game in that playoff series a couple of seasons ago in Game 6 was a 41-point performance. So he turned it up. The Knicks turned it up, answered every shot the Sixers tried to throw at them, and now you have tied for the longest playoff winning streak in franchise history. Look at the years. Those are championship-era years going back, but the 99 team got to the NBA Finals, and that run that team went on, winning the last game in the first round, sweeping the middle round, and then winning Game 1 of the Eastern Conference Finals. That's what we're talking about here. More Knick history being made by this team on this run.
So we mentioned no OG Anunoby. One of our talking points before the game, Cat's got to stay out of foul trouble. He was in foul trouble. He's been in foul trouble all series, has put up numbers, but not in this one. It didn't matter that he scored only 8 points.
Well,
the Knicks are able to get it done, and Cat goes 8 points. He does grab 12 rebounds.
12 and 7.
But he only played 25 minutes again.
It's unbelievable. And I did warn you in the pregame. What did I tell you? Like, what are the Sixers going to do? They're going to go at him. They're going to play physical with him. They're going to try to get him to look like this stuff, too. And by the way, can we just say this stuff is embarrassing for the NBA? And I'm not talking about the fouls for Towns. I'm talking about that stuff. This Embiid is as big as Cat.
Can't move,
he's
though.
flopping and flailing and whatever he can do to draw a foul. How's that not a foul? Doesn't make sense. But he plays through it. This, ridiculous. This was overturned. Towns was given the foul. He got thrown to the ground and landed on. It's bizarre. We're seeing it around the league. You watched the Thunder-Laker game last night. I mean, there's some awful calls and non-calls in that game. But there's a lot of flopping happening. This is nothing new to Embiid. This is what he's been doing. And really, with his lack of mobility, it's all he's got. Because anytime that Towns was able to drive towards him or at him, went right by him. So he knows I've got to stay close to him, and I've got to tie him up, and I've got to draw him into physical play and try to get fouls. And it has worked for them in this series, but it hasn't cost the Knicks games. And you say he didn't do much in this game, but in 26 minutes, he had 12 rebounds and 7 assists.
Right.
I understand.
The scoring, though.
3 of 8. He didn't shoot it well. He had a couple of easy ones that he didn't knock down. But I still, again, when you think about the frustration of being in foul trouble and not contributing early in the season, would he have given you 12 rebounds and 7 assists, or would he have disappeared? So you're still getting something out of him, despite the fact that for him, this is a maddening series for him to play in because they won't let him play.
his playing time in the 3 games, 27 minutes, 20 minutes, 25 minutes.
Well rested.
And he is putting up great numbers, but they didn't need his scoring tonight.
Yeah.
And they're up 3-0. A lot of fans with lots of excitement outside MSG.
That's it.
The Knicks needing one more win to go to the conference finals for the 2nd straight season. All right, watch party outside MSG. Fans ecstatic over the Knicks beating the Sixers 108-94. And a watch party inside MSG, and that's where we find Alex Monaco.
Here with Larry Johnson, who just took in the Knicks win with this watch party. Larry, what was it like in here with the fans?
I can't believe it, man. For a game that's on the road, these fans really get behind our Knicks, man. And we done took over the city. And those guys really came alive. And here it was awesome. Just like I heard a lot of Knicks fans in Philly, too.
Up 2-0 on the road, hostile environment, no OG, and the boys showed up and showed out. What was the most impressive part of this win?
Most impressive, you know Brunson gonna do his thing, and we got that out of him. But Shaman and Bridges, they came to play tonight, and they really stepped up for OG, and they really stepped up the extra for those guys. And they really played well. We got contributions from everybody tonight.
What is the most special part for you being a part of all of this Knicks outing in this run?
I think, you know, like when we play Spreewell, Marcus Camby, Patrick Ewing, even my guy John Starks, we would tell you, man, you leave it all out on the floor. And it's been a while since we can get behind a team that kind of resembles us, that leave it all out on the floor and play with their heart. And that's what these guys doing, man. We got these guys, and they're playing with their heart, and they're playing together. They love playing with each other. They love playing for the city. That's the thing about New York. You got to want to play here.
I'll get you out of here with this. We're all believers in here. Knicks are favorites to win the East, 3rd right now to run the table. If you don't believe in this team, what do you have to say about it?
Then get away from us. If you don't believe in New York Knicks right now, then you go somewhere else. We got enough believers here in New York for us.
You heard it from Larry. Go somewhere else. Back to you, Bill.
Alex, LJ, thank you. A lot to cheer when you're at the watch party inside MSG tonight. They're watching Jalen Brunson do his thing, and boy, he was spectacular. Bill Pidto back here in our Delta MSG studios with Alan Hahn, and it's Brunson who's our New York State Lottery power player. 33 points for him, 9 assists. They couldn't stop him. He is just fantastic. Fantastic to watch. Fantastic to see how he executes, and they couldn't stop him.
And you know what they couldn't do? They couldn't get him off his left. Like, he was, look at his pass. That was what a highlight that moment was for Mitchell Robinson. But see how he's getting left? It's incredible that he just kept getting to his left as if you don't know the skill. Look, again, to the left. Like, he was killing VJ Edgecombe. He was using screens well, and anytime doubles came, he had 9 assists, so he was smart with the passes. That is such a good finish, once again, with the left. And then, of course, the patented stuff, the hard stops, and then the little bit of a look. That's a long arm in his face. That was a key three-pointer as well in the moment. But for Jalen Brunson, another Villanova guy in that building, very comfortable. As I mentioned before, last time he was in there in a playoff game, he dropped 40 in a closeout game. So for Brunson, it has been for him a strong series, in a series that you thought they were going to trap him and take the ball away. Him trusting the pass has opened things up for him. And that is something that makes this offense a lot more dangerous. Towns out of the game. You wonder what's going to happen. Is it going to bog down? No, it did not. And the Sixers, it's too late now, but the Sixers really have got to look at the scouting report and say, you can't let him get to his left, because in this game, he did it over and over again. And we know that's his strong hand.
So we got the Nova Knicks. We've talked about Brunson and Bridges. How about Josh Hart?
Yeah.
Don't forget about Josh Hart. 12 points, 11 rebounds, 6 of 12 shooting. Had been struggling with his shot a little bit before tonight, but he was another valuable contributor in the game tonight, helping the Knicks win.
It's always about his energy, right? It's always about the rebounds that get you extra possessions, or the rebounds that lead to breaks. He's so good at that. He's got a good read on the ball. He didn't look like he was 100% physically a lot of times. Normally we'd see him get on the break and then finish. But in this game, he was pulling it back out. He wasn't going to challenge Embiid. He tried it one time, and he got the ball put back in his face. Although replays show he gets an elbow to the side of the head. But as we know, of course, that's not a foul. But, again, Hart with the double-double, he gives you an effort. This was the game we talked about in pregame, how important it was to look at this game with the urgency of go up 3-0 and do not give them any life whatsoever. Fourth year in a row they've had a 2-0 lead. This is the first time they've won Game 3.
Wally Szczerbiak in Philadelphia was on the radio call on ESPN New York. Let everybody know, Wally, credit where credit is due. Your player to watch was Landry Shamet, and Landry Shamet scored the most points he scored in a game since late February. So, well done. I hate to do this, but well done.
He doesn't hate to do it. He loves to do it.
Well, he stayed ready. That's the key, and that's what Mike Brown has been doing all season long, keeping the whole entire roster ready when your number's called to produce at a high level. Landry Shamet's an elite perimeter defender. He fights through screens with a lot of, just aggressiveness. He makes his defenders, the guy he's guarding, work to get shots up. And he's very quick on his feet. And with his size and his length, I think it's really bothering the perimeter players of Philadelphia. And I think at some point, Philadelphia just broke. In that fourth quarter, when Jalen came back in the game with 9 minutes to go, they were only up 4. And Mike Brown had to go back to Jalen a little earlier than I think he wanted to. But when Jalen's out there, they really struggle to stop the Knicks, because Jalen can get whatever he wants. And then if you want to take the ball out of his hands, they gave up some really easy shots in fourth quarter minutes with some of those junk defenses that Nick Nurse was throwing at the Knicks. Knicks were ready for it, and they cashed in big time. That was quite a finish to the game.
All right, well, a big play is presented by Four Leaf Federal Credit Union. We're going to show everyone the Shamet highlight package. 5 of 6 shooting, the 15 points. And again, here's a guy that was out of the rotation, and he gets his chance and makes the most of it. Just amazing, Wally. What about
he was out of the rotation just because...
Go ahead.
He was out of the rotation just because of the way that Mike Brown was coaching matchups in the first series against Atlanta. I go back to when I played for Mike Brown in Cleveland. I didn't play at all against the Detroit Pistons because he didn't like my matchup with me guarding Tayshaun Prince. In the second round against Atlanta, I played 25 minutes a night. So Mike Brown coaches defensive matchups. That's how he makes his decisions on who's going to get out there on the floor. He loves the length that Landry Shamet is going to bring to this series, especially without OG Anunoby on the floor. We saw it tonight. Landry Shamet's a great matchup for VJ Edgecombe. He's a great matchup for Tyrese Maxey. That is called coaching in the playoffs, Bill.
So, Wally, you've played in a lot of playoff games, and you were in that building. You were calling this game. That sounded on TV like there was a loud New York representation there. There was a lot of talk about how the Sixers were trying to keep New York fans out of there. You drove down there. There's a lot of people calling into my show saying, I'm going to the game. Did that feel like a road game for the Knicks? And what is that like to be an opposing player, and yet you're hearing cheers and chants of defense?
Honestly, Alan, that was one of the most wild playoff games I've ever been a part of. I've never seen anything like it. I said it on the radio broadcast. It reminded me of an NCAA tournament game where you got the Wisconsin red over here and you got the Kentucky blue over there. And then when one team scores, you hear a roar. When the other team scores, you hear another roar. I mean, it was wild. When Embiid was coming in the game and you got Knicks fans booing him, you got Jalen Brunson going to the free throw line, you got MVP chants, and you got the Philly fans trying to drown out those MVP chants with boos. I mean, it was just a wild playoff scene. These Knicks fans are awesome. They're the best fans in the business. The fact that they came over and took over this building, Philly fans were walking out of this building with 5 minutes to go. Knicks fans stayed till the absolute buzzer and were going bananas until the buzzer. It was quite a scene. It really was. And I see why Joel Embiid is not happy with how many Knicks fans are making the road trip down here to MSG South. This is MSG South, officially the Xfinity Center.
All right, Wally, we'll have a nice trip home, and we'll look forward to seeing you on Mother's Day when the Knicks try to close out the 76ers.
Can't wait, boys.
All right, Mike Brown's got his team one win away from a trip to the Eastern Conference Finals. Post-game reaction for the Knicks coach is coming up. Knicks have now won 6 playoff games in a row. They beat the Sixers 108-94, now lead the series 3 games to none. Mike Brown's post-game comments, as always, presented by Chase.
Our guys did a good job. We knew that they were going to be energized by the crowd, especially being down 0-2. They're a great team. They weren't going to lay down. They were going to bring a little extra. We knew the crowd was going to help them bring a little extra. And they jumped out and they kind of punched us in the mouth to start the game. Our guys settled down and they figured it out the next 3 quarters after that first one went by. But great response by our group. They're resilient. They've been through a lot as a veteran group, and it showed tonight. Did a good job trying to show our hands and not send them to the free throw line. We did a good job of trying to get back in transition and not allow them to take advantage of us in the open court. And then, we were really good on the offensive glass, and we were pretty good in transition ourselves. And, trying to win the possession game, especially on the road, was huge. And we didn't get it done in the turnover department, but in the free throw department and in the second chance or offensive rebound department, we did a pretty good job. And that's what helped us win this game on the road. Our fourth quarter defense, again, was really good, especially versus a great team. I would be not doing my job if I didn't point out, the continued work that Mikal is doing at the point of attack when it comes to Maxey. Maxey's a great player. You're not going to stop him. You hope he misses a few shots, but you got to get multiple efforts while guarding him. And Mikal's busting us behind, trying to do that, trying to make it tough on him while, giving it to us offensively. So, again, I applaud Mikal. I also applaud our defense behind Mikal, too. And then, like I said, you got to get a little lucky with great players, and you got to hope they miss some shots. I would also be wrong if I didn't talk about our bench, in particular 2 players. I thought Mitch Robinson was huge for us. He was huge. We ran him longer in stretches at times than what we normally do, but he was great in both directions for us. He was big for us throughout the course of the game. And then Landry Shamet. Landry hasn't played a drop all playoffs. I think the first game he was in the rotation, and then the second game a little bit, and then he was out. And and that's 6-7 games, whatever it is, that he hasn't seen any significant minutes on the court. And Landry was huge for us tonight. He was huge on both ends of the floor. We needed a spark from somebody when we were down, and they hit us in the mouth, and Landry gave it to us. It was a big game on the road, and it didn't faze him, and that was a lot of fun to watch.
Mike, this is, to speak to Landry again, this is kind of the third instance this season where a guy has been put on ice for a little bit and then steps up to the plate and hits a home run. What does that say not only about the type of veterans you guys brought into this club, but even just the kind of culture you've tried to cultivate here and staying ready, being prepared, and things of that nature?
As a coach, you love to see it, and that's why you give different guys opportunities at different times. Sometimes you start Landry, sometimes you start Mo, sometimes you start this guy. And what hopefully it shows at the end of the day coming from me is that I have confidence in them. And not only that, your number can be called anytime, so be ready. And our guys have taken that to heart. We got a lot of good guys that are resilient. They're fighters, and they've done a good job of keeping their mind or staying present in whatever we're doing, and it's showing when they go out there and get the opportunity. And so, it showed with Jordan, it showed with Jose, it showed with Landry, and so I applaud all those guys for staying present, staying ready, but I also applaud their teammates for keeping them uplifted. Because it takes everybody to show that support throughout tough times or times when you don't play, when you're expecting to play. So just a fantastic job by Landry tonight and by those other guys prior to tonight.
Mike, you talked about Mikal at point of attack on Tyrese.
Yeah.
Looks like times you also used him on Paul after Paul got off early.
Yeah.
And then I think even there was a couple times in a row he was guarding Embiid. Just was he giving you a little bit of the OG thing of just guarding everybody who he's needed on?
Yeah, obviously with OG out, we were down a big wing. And so, Mikal had to take that part over. Now, we're not switching Mikal necessarily on Embiid, but if it happens, he's just got to play him without fouling. And Mikal did a lot of good tonight defensively, no matter who he guarded, and he was big in helping us get the win because of it.
Coach, with Mitch, dealing with Embiid's kind of a handful physically.
Yeah.
Is that what you were talking about when you were lauding his performance today, his defense on Embiid, or what?
For sure,
yeah.
but also, you talk about being physical without fouling defensively. You can be physical without fouling offensively too. He set some great screens, and then you could talk about driving to the paint for a paint touch and a spray three. His rolls. He's a dynamic roller. His rolls cause the defense to do this, and that allows us to spray. We had 10 sprays in the first half. I don't know what we ended up the game with, but that's most I think we've had against Philly this whole series in a half. And so his rolls are dynamic, and they helped us generate great looks from the perimeter, as well as his vertical threat. He had a couple lobs at the rim, and then the last thing I would say is his offensive rebounding. He kept the ball alive a handful of times, so he was just good both directions, in transition both directions, and with those things that I just mentioned.
And that out of bounds alley-oop that he caught, is that a play you guys have practiced?
Yeah, that's a play that we run. We have a few different plays that we'll do, but that was done to perfection. And I can't remember who set the screen, but Mitch went and got it. Somebody set the screen to free him up, and the pass was a great pass.
Mike, just going back to Paul George for a second. He had 15 in the first quarter, then went scoreless the rest of the way. I think he went 0 for 9. Just, what did you guys either switch or do well after that first quarter to really limit him?
Well, Paul's a great player, and we had to mix up coverages on him. And then, you got to give Josh and Mikal and then the defense behind those guys a lot of credit, because those guys were stuck with the task of guarding him throughout the course of the night. And, our team defense was really good, and our guys paid attention to the details of what we were supposed to do schematically. And again, he missed a couple of shots, but we have to keep trying to be physical without fouling and making it tough for him, and hope he misses sometimes.
All right, stream Knicks pre- and post-game coverage during the playoffs, plus hours of on-demand content anywhere you go. Download the Gotham Sports app. It's free with your MSG TV subscription. Sign in and start streaming today. Energy, supplied as always by Josh Hart. Also scored 12 points, but was a monster on the boards, grabbing 11. Back with more after this.
Rebound Brunson, 14-point lead. Long outlet to Bridges for a right-hand layup. He burned Embiid and George down the court.
Knicks fans going crazy. Philly fans hitting the exits.
Tyler Murray and Wally Szczerbiak on ESPN New York on the radio call. Alan, time for energizing plays presented by C4 Energy. And there was energy all night long. Very intense contest.
Very much so. At the very beginning, the Sixers had all the energy they had to. How about that as an energizer? That's a poster Mitch is going to want to have in his house. Great ball movement here. Landry Shamet brought energy off the bench. He had a huge game, 15 points, plus 20 in his 26 minutes. That's making an impact off the bench when called upon. And that's been the story of this Knicks season. Different players in different moments stepping up when needed.
A couple of sequences stand out to me. Philly goes up 28 to start, up by 12. Knicks
20-8.
Right, 20-8. Knicks closed to only trail by 4 after the first quarter. Cat misses the final 8:20 of the first half because of foul trouble. And the Knicks actually end up extending their lead from 3 points to 8 points at the half. 2 key sequences there in the first half helped pave the way for the domination in the second half.
Yeah, and they were really up 11. It was a bounce by Oubre on a corner 3 that if that bounces out, it's an 11-point lead at half, made it 8, and it gave the Sixers a little bit of hope to start the second half. You're the home team. You've got to get your crowd back into it, and you got to get a good start to that half. And the Knicks just kept answering every push that the Sixers made, and that was what was critical here. And a lot of times it doesn't happen. You know, these are always cliche games, these game 3s, when it's the home team holds serve and they go up 2-0, and it's not a series till the road team wins a game. Well, it's not a series anymore when you go up 3-0.
All the Nova Knicks played well, including Josh Hart, 12 and 11, as we discussed. Here's Hart now in the postgame locker room.
Josh, coming into tonight without OG, what can you say about how the team responded and total team effort tonight?
Yeah, everyone picked it up. It's one of the things where it's next man up. Obviously, we say that, but that just means just more opportunity for guys. Kelly did an amazing job. Deuce in the minutes he had. Landry, like I said, the ultimate professional, being out the rotation, coming in, getting big minutes offensively and defensively. So, we responded well to that, that adversity.
Josh, how would you describe the consistency of this group from game to game? The same effort, the same class.
Yeah, I mean, that's just what our identity is. When you continue to do something game after game after game, it becomes an identity, and that's what we strive for, to have that energy, the physicality, the attention to detail, the focus. We strive to have that every game, and like I said, when you do that game after game after game, it becomes identity.
Josh, is it familiar to see Jalen have a big game in this building? Obviously, you guys had some great memories here in college, and he's had some good ones against them over here too.
Yeah, I mean, him, Cal. We've had so many games here in terms of college, and then obviously JB had a great series against him a couple of years ago. So never surprised with both of those guys. How they play here.
What did you think of the atmosphere here tonight?
It was good. Obviously, New York always comes out and shows love, and they support us wherever we go. And we need that. We need them to continue to do that and come out on Sunday.
Welcome back. Tonight's thrilling moment brought to you by FanDuel Casino. Get your thrill on off the inbounds. Look at that. A beautiful alley-oop to Mitchell Robinson from Jalen Brunson. Work to perfection. Mitchell Robinson, a big contribution tonight as the Knicks win at 108-94. Back now from the corner 3, presented by Michelob Ultra Superior Light Beer. Mike Brown, so complimentary of Robinson in his post-game comments. Karl Anthony Towns, we've talked about his foul trouble. Mitchell Robinson played almost 19 minutes and was very effective.
He certainly was, and he had to be physical, but he had to be careful with the fouls. That was going to be a big part of this with Embiid out there. But it's plays like we just saw that are so important when Mitchell Robinson's out there. The fouls, they were sending him to the line. 4 for 8's not great. It's 50%. But with Mitchell Robinson and his struggles, and they're purposely fouling him to get at least a point out of those as they're trying to disrupt your offense and slow you down. The Hack-a-Mitch thing, Nick Nurse was going to go to it, and they did. I don't think it really worked.
You go 50% on Hack-a-Mitch. Is that good enough?
I mean, no, it's not. You want more. You want better than that, and I'm sure Mitch wants better than that as well. But you'll still take that over 0 for 8. We've seen him go through it where he'll miss. He'll go 0 for 4 sometimes, and it starts to get into his head. I like that he shot with confidence. He stayed with it, and he didn't give away any free chicken.
You missed 2 straight, you give away free
That's
chicken.
Right.
Mitch.
He didn't give any chicken.
Right.
Other guys gave chicken away tonight,
right.
But it wasn't Mitch.
All right, here's Robinson after the game now.
Stay focused, stay locked, and everybody contributes to the game, and we got it done.
How much do you enjoy the matchup with Joel Embiid?
I like that fight. He's a talented player, great player. Just been playing against him for over the years now, and we're playing on the big stage right now. So at this point, it's like, we gotta just go.
You're part of that bench group that really stepped it up tonight. What can you say about the team's performance off the bench?
We was all connected. We got out there, got active, and just ready to go. Really. So, I mean, everybody came up there and just did their thing. Especially Landry came in, big minutes, big plays as well, and. We got to keep that going.
Mitch, what did you think of the overall effort of your club right from the get-go?
We did great. We started out a little slow in the beginning of the game, but then, we picked it up and, we stayed locked in.
It's defense that that Mikhail's been playing on Maxey? I mean, obviously he's super fast out there. What have you seen that's been effective for Mikhail in that match?
His effort. He given multiple efforts. You know, on the ball, off the ball, backdoor cuts, and you know, he's multiple efforts.
After Game 3, you guys are down 2-1 against Atlanta. You guys have run off a lot of wins and played some really good basketball. Just from your vantage point, what has changed since Game 3?
I mean, we learned from our games, but at the end of the day, the job's not finished. You know, we got to win forward. So, you know, that's what we're trying to focus on, and you know, that's what we'll continue to do.
How would you describe the quality of this win tonight?
It was great. We went out there and we would say with the first punch, and you know, that's a great team to do that and to find a way to get back in the game. You know, it's a testament to the guys in this locker room, our discipline, and just our mental fortitude, you know, to get through all the adversity and just find a way to win.
What does it say about this club that you didn't have OG, who's been on fire, and you guys stepped forward?
I mean, I've been telling you, in this locker room, we believe in everyone in this locker room stepping into the game and producing at a high level. And today showed that again. You know, Landry, Ariel, I think, you know, we could keep going down the list about the guys who went in there and made some really impactful plays. Even for the seconds that he was out there, Mo was great. He got us a great stop of energy at the end of the first half, and it really helped us.
At the third foul that it got reviewed and changed on you, what did you think of that? Were you surprised?
I'm not surprised at anything anymore.
Kat, what did you think about the effort from Mikhail on both sides of the ball? Obviously, he's doing a great job with
fantastic. He's fantastic. He's been fantastic all series. I think the physicality he's brought to the point of attack has been great, and it's helped us, you know, really be effective in making it difficult for the other team.
What's that battle with Embiid been like for you? You know, pretty physical.
I mean, it's been great. It's been great to go against one of the best and to go out there in this environment and play. You know, I got a lot of respect for his game and the success he's had in his career.
Now, would you describe this team as a juggernaut right now?
I just look at us as a team that's trying to every single day stay in the present and find a way to win every single time we step on that court.
Were the fouls frustrating tonight for you?
What you think?
I think a little bit frustrated. Landry Shamet making the most of his opportunity. No OG Anunoby, and Shamet made the most of his chance. We'll hear from him coming up. Welcome back. Game summary for the Knicks win over the Sixers. Note the free throws. Note the rebounds. How about the fact the Knicks outscored the Sixers bench 29-11, and Landry Shamet had 15 of those 29 bench points. Here's Shamet now after the game.
Sixers threw the first punch. What did it take to kind of withstand that and kind of take it to them after that?
We talked about it for the last few days. We knew they would. You know, coming back home down 2-0, you're going to have a sense of desperation. You know, that was coach's sentiment this week. And, you know, we knew that was going to be the case, and it was. They played really well, scored the ball really well early. We weren't as physical as we needed to be. Made a couple adjustments and just picked up our physicality and presence defensively, and it helped us.
How do you keep that physicality now with, you know, you only need one more?
It's just a mindset. You know, that's your only choice. Otherwise, we're going to be going back to New York, you know, 3-1. You know, you're going to put a team away, and you're going to have to give a little bit more, and, you know, we all know that in this room, so there's no other choice. We want to get a win.
Do you feel you guys are a runaway freight train right now?
I don't know what that means, but not really. You know, I feel like we got a chance to move on with getting one win, and that's what we're worried about. And, you know, we'll go try to, you know, do what we got to do to get a win.
Landry, how did you stay ready, you know, as you...
You know, you just stay ready. And, yeah, when numbers called, you just stay ready.
How did it feel like to come through like that? And, you know?
Yeah, it felt good. Felt good to be out there with my teammates. Felt good to get a win. And, you know, we got one more in the, you know, matter of hours, really. So try to get our bodies right, get our minds right, and try to go get one.
26 minutes of playing time for Landry Shamet. The watch party watching Jalen Brunson do his thing. He had 33 points. We'll get his post-game reaction when we come back here after this.
Edgecombe, now he dribbles left toward the far baseline, gets around him and banks in a left-hand leaner. Knicks by 12. Timeout Philly. What a turnaround for New York. From down 12 to up 12 with 3:37 to go in the second quarter of Game 3.
Nice. And for him to step up this way is kind of the third instance. We had Jordan. Jose, again, was sitting, coming in, making a big impact. Now Landry. What does that say not only about the professionals you guys have in your locker room, but the environment that Mike has cultivated, and guys just being able to feel like they always have an opportunity and prepare for those moments?
Yeah, especially all guys like JC, Jose, everybody, but Land is a true professional, just mentally, not playing and throwing out there and end up finishing the game. And, we talked to him and, gave him his dap for what he does, but that's just a true professional, and he works so hard and just got that mental, killer in himself.
Mikhail, your coach, the first thing your coach said today was he would be remiss if he didn't recognize the defensive effort that you put forth again against Tyrese Maxey. Did you understand how important that would be coming into the series? How satisfied are you with the job you've done? And Jalen, if you could just address sort of what that has meant to the team, the job that Mikhail has done on Tyrese.
It's a team effort. That's pretty much it. Just playing hard, following a scout. You know how much, Tyrese means to the team, how important he is, and how really good he is. So just trying to make it difficult for him. And, I got 4 other guys that's helping. And even when I'm out and other guys guarding them, I think they're doing a hell of a job as well. So that's really it.
Yeah. All right, so Mikal Bridges. Again, Tyrese Maxey is one of the top guards in the entire NBA. And Mikal Bridges has had a lot to do with him being basically shut down over 3 games.
He's made him give up the ball because in his matchup minutes in this game, and he matched up with him the most defensively in this game, Maxey didn't take a shot against him, not one shot. So he's making him give up the ball, and it starts right there. Get it out of his hands.
And for a guy that wasn't scoring at all in his last 4 games, as we showed you, Bridges is averaging.
Another second round for Mikal Bridges, just like last year. Sometimes you got to wait a little longer.
Lots to cheer about. Bridges averaging over 20 per game over his last 4, and the Knicks need one more win to make it to the conference finals. Jalen Brunson tonight, the Knicks win, 33 points, 9 assists. You see his numbers in the last 7 playoff games that he's played against the Sixers. Lights out. More now from Brunson and Mikal Bridges postgame.
Yeah, I think the best part that I've seen about Mikal is from the first time I met him to now, his work ethic and his approach to the game and everything, and how he's grown as a worker and how he's grown as a professional. Obviously, he's played in an unlimited amount of games in a row, and that's just a testament to who he is. Obviously, defensively, he creates havoc on and off the ball. It's just who he is. He has an instinct that I don't think you can really teach, and but he's definitely grown as a player every single year, and we truly need that.
Jalen, just without OG today, just how much did everybody else have to step up and raise their games almost to make up for that absence?
Yeah, it was definitely a team effort. Now, obviously, we want everyone back healthy, and but it's important for everyone to step up and have the right mindset. Do whatever we got to do to find a way to win.
Mikal, last game we asked Jalen about what has he seen from you these last couple of games? You've been on a heater. Just when did it start clicking for you again? And then the second part of the question: you grew up an hour from here? Did you have to deny anyone for the tickets tonight because it's a playoff game?
Just trying to do whatever it takes to win. Just beginning the playoffs. Knowing that, all 82, regular season means a lot, but it's just another season after. And, just giving it all. That's pretty much all I got to say. And, tickets, I got a lot of people here, so I'm spending a lot of money. So I think my friends and family are pretty grateful.
Couple more guys.
This is Vito. You gave up 12 points in the fourth the other night, 18 tonight.
what's working for you guys? It's been different iterations of different lineups that you've played in the fourth. OG the other night, you played Landry tonight. Not necessarily about being on a roll, but how are you guys coming together? How are you able to see it, especially in the fourth quarter when you guys have needed to rely on your defense?
I think that's the most important thing is obviously relying on our defense. There's going to be times the ball's going to the hoop and when it's not. And control the things we can control. And obviously our communication on the defense side of the ball, our rotations, everything are the one thing that we have to control. And so regardless, we got to lean on our defense to make plays. And it's just that's what we have to rely on. It's really that simple.
Knicks try to close it out. Sunday, we're on the air at 3 with our pregame show. Game is at 3:30. Short turnaround. Sixers starters have been logging a lot of minutes. Fatigue could be a big factor in Game 4 on Sunday. Back with more after this. All right, so the Knicks will try to close out the Philadelphia 76ers on Sunday. We're on the air at 3 with our pregame show. Game's at 3:30, and as always, our extended postgame coverage follows. Knicks win tonight in Game 3, 108-94. They got help from everybody, and were able to win without OG Anunoby. 108-94 the final, as the Knicks got 33 from Captain Clutch Jalen Brunson, and one more win, and they make the conference finals. Thanks for watching, everybody. We'll talk to you on Sunday. Want more than just a post-game show? Link your eligible TV subscription to stream Knicks games free or subscribe today in the Gotham Sports app. Just go to gothamsports.tv to learn more.